Hello, and this is Joe Sonona with Sonona Speaks Seminars, and we present Coffee Talk every week here. But today is a special segments portion of Coffee Talk, and my guest this week is Jesse Rosenthal. How are you, Jesse?
Hey, Joe. How's it going, man? Thank you so much for having me on. I've got my shaker bottle instead of my coffee tonight.
And I got my Coffee Talk with some
Yeah,
juice in it.
very good.
But actually, it's water with a little drop of Mio, so I can have the nice taste, and we'll talk about that in a second.
That's exactly what I've got in here as well.
It's in your honor, Jesse. So in full disclosure to our audience, I just want to let everyone know how I know Jesse, and I think we met about how many years ago now? You've been out of college.
5 or 6 now.
Oh
Maybe
my
6.
God, has
Yeah.
it been that long? So I was invited to be a guest speaker at Jesse's college at Adelphi, and then I later joined the fraternity that Jesse belonged to as an honorary member of Delta Chi, and then we became friends very quickly, and then we got back in touch with each other after he graduated, and he started a fitness consulting program called Modern Man Movement. And I became a member of Modern Man Movement because I wanted to eat properly, and I wanted to continue my journey of fitness that I had just finished with another nutritionist. And I wanted Jesse's guidance on working out, which I do very poorly. I admit it. I can. This is true confessions with Joe and Jesse today. And and I wanted a journey to losing weight properly without having to compromise some of the foods that I was already eating. So Jesse's been not just a great friend, but also someone I wanted to get on this show of special segments, because we realtors are on the go and we eat poorly and we have improper diets and we stuff our faces and we binge. So Jesse, welcome. And I want to hear all about your great advice to realtors today who are on the go.
Awesome. No, thank you for having me on. And I think, just going off of that, like your own journey and your own progress within our Modern Man program, it's a perfect example that not everyone's is going to be exactly the same. And there's not going to be one solution that's going to just factually work for everybody, right? Like I have guys who are strength training 5 or 6 times a week. And then we have you who's mainly focusing on steps and just staying active and nutrition. And both sides have been able to see really good progress in regards to losing body fat and getting leaner and improving your health. So, great work on your side of things. But
and I'm not a guy that just lifts weights and goes to the gym. I had said that to Jesse. I said, you're barking up the wrong tree if you want me to do anything. I mean, I use my stretch bands, right? And we'll talk about that. And I haven't been on the bike since last July, almost a year now. I haven't been really biking because I think I pulled a tendon in my leg. And so there was a lot of setbacks during this course of my journey. And then when I keep rejoining Jesse's train here, and but I've lost since December of 2020, which is coming out of quarantine COVID weight, which I gained, I think, about 20 pounds easily, like we all did. But I think since December now, I went from 203, I think I clocked in. And this morning, my new weight is 186. So yep. I'm still on a journey to get to 177, and I'm still doing it. And Jesse, could you tell everybody in full disclosure what the method is? What's the secret sauce to losing weight?
Yeah, well, it's funny. We're laughing because there really is no secret, right? Like there's, a million articles on Google if you want to find the, best diet or something like that. But the truth is, the answer is something that you can actually be consistent with, right? Something that you can actually blend into your lifestyle, blend into your schedule, into your work life. That's why, when we're talking about realtors and we're talking about people who are always on the go, who are also trying to stay in great shape and stay energized, you've got to find a strategy, not only with your nutrition, but also with your training that's going to fit into your, schedule that you're going to be able to do for 6 months, 12 months, 3, 4, 5 years, because otherwise whatever results you see are going to be temporary, right? Like you told me in the past, you've lost weight in the past before, like
Yeah.
pretty much everyone has, but it's a matter of actually sustaining that, weight loss and, continuing to build upon it year after year.
At my highest level, I was 225 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I had diabetes and high blood pressure. And I was headed for like type 1 diabetes. And the doctor gave me, I pulled out a needle, my doctor, and he pulled out a needle and he said, I'm going to give you your first shot of insulin. That's what really woke me up, because I was taking metformin. Just to, I would take metformin and then think I could eat 3 bowls of pasta for the remainder of the week, and 3 bowls of pasta in one sitting is enough to say, you're fat, or how about a sleeve of Oreo cookies by yourself and just binge eating because you want your sugar to go up a certain level. So it took a lot, and it still takes a lot to keep that urge from eating, a binge eating, and when we talk, and can you tell everybody, I don't care, my secret is out already. I was a fat boy. Now I'm a fat boy on the road to skinny boy. But can you tell everybody what you do with me, touch upon it lightly, what I have to do to be accountable to you?
Yeah. And I think, honestly, when it comes to a fitness journey, like that's probably one of the most important parts is, are there consequences when you're not doing what you're supposed to do, right? That accountability side of things. I actually still work with a coach myself, not because I don't know what to do. I know exactly what I should be doing. It's just a matter of having that skin in the game and knowing that if I don't do something that I'm supposed to do, then I'm going to let my coach down. I don't want to do that. Naturally, I want to make him proud, and I want to show him that I'm doing well, just like you want to do for me, right? So there's various ways that I hold you guys accountable. And, I've got the community Facebook group, obviously, that we're all in there. And, when you are seeing other people show up every day and, eat healthy foods and exercise, it makes you think to yourself, well, why can't I do that? Right? Like, if all these other guys are doing it, there's something that I can do today to take one step forward in my fitness. So that's one aspect of the accountability, is the actual community and the group that we have, the accountability group. And then also just tracking our progress properly, right? So I have a tracker for you that you fill out every single day. You weigh in each morning. You enter the foods that you eat for each meal. And you enter in some other things in there as well, like how many steps you got in, how much water you drank. None of this is going to be time consuming for you, right? You're a busy guy. You've got a lot going on. It takes 10 seconds to type in what you ate for each meal and to type in, what you weighed or how much steps you got in. But what that's doing is, it's almost making you want to make me proud in a way that, like, you may actually be more likely to eat a different meal if you know that I'm going to see it, right? Like if you're going out to eat, you may be
I
more
got to tell you,
likely.
the first time you gave me the tracker, I was so bad at it. I probably am still bad at it.
No, you're very good at it.
I don't like put the exact, like, I don't weigh my food, right? But I'll put, like, if I have a shake, I'll put 24 ounces of shake in there. Yeah. And I'm learning a little bit more now than I did, because we did this already. We went on the same journey, and then I was slacking off. And I noticed that without the discipline of putting your food in there, and then I thought, why do I have to weigh myself every day? Why don't I just weigh myself every week? What are the benefits of weighing it? Why should somebody weigh themselves every day as opposed to every week?
That's a great question. And the truth is, like, just like anything, right? Just like your finances, just like anything else in life, the more information and data that you collect, the more educated you're going to be, and you're going to be able to make more informed decisions, right? Right. So the benefit, I guess, of tracking your weight every single day is that we can look at what the weekly average weight is, right? So that's going to give us a better and more accurate depiction of where your weight actually is for that week. Because as you know, you and I know, your weight is going to fluctuate almost every day, right? On a day-to-day basis, it may be up 2 pounds, down a pound, down 3 pounds, up 4 pounds, like based on the foods that you're eating, based on your sleep, based on your hydration, how stressed you are, your weight is going to fluctuate almost every single day. So if you just weigh yourself once per week, you're really not going to give yourself an accurate depiction of where you're actually at, right? Because your weight could have spiked up 2 or 3 pounds that one day, whereas the other 6 days leading up to it, maybe your weight was, down and you're actually losing weight that week. You would see the one day that the weight spiked up and get really discouraged and make some irrational decision with your nutrition or your food. So
Right.
that's why we track it every single day, so that we can look at the weekly average and compare it to the previous week's weekly average and pretty much know for a fact, are you trending down in weight or are you trending up in weight, regardless of the spikes up and down.
Right. And I noticed that there are some days when I put my, when I weigh myself and I've had a meal the night before that has a lot of salt, and you've actually told me, don't worry about that. That's water weight. And because I said, oh, damn, the next day my weight just jumped up 2 extra pounds from the previous day. And I'm sitting there going, son of a gun, why am I like trending up daily? And I'm like, but then I noticed at the end of the week, I'm trending down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so now I have in my head that I got to cut down the sodium in my food. And everything is loaded with salt, everything is loaded with sugar, but it's the extra stuff that you put in your food or how you prepare your food, which I want to talk about with you, what your schedule is like with food prep, how you do it, because it seems to me that, everybody tries to be or look like you. But everybody has to understand and accept they have to look like them, and I think that right now I'm in a good place, because when I lost all that weight with the first nutritionist that I hired, and the reason why I never got back to her, just in full disclosure, she was a great nutritionist. She doesn't do it anymore. So when you came along, it was like a godsend, because here we are, I transitioned from her where she had, Joe, you want to lose 25, 30, 40, 50 pounds? And I said, yes, but I also want to reverse my diabetes. And I said, so if you want, so I said, I hired her for a specific purpose. And then I was her last client. Mm-hmm. When I transitioned over to you, it was more of, let's transition now and live the lifestyle that I want to live. Yeah. And then you were the first person to ever get me to like water. I hate water, but I found a liquid that people could use called Mio, M-I-O, mm-hmm. and it's a flavor to the water, and it doesn't have like all that sugar and salt and everything that retains water. Because I drink now, I'm up to almost like, I'm averaging between 80 and 100 ounces a day.
That's great.
You push me to have a gallon of water. So we're talking about hydration. So how much does the average person need in their body?
So it really is going to vary on a lot of different things, right? Like the build. So it does depend on that and your build and your activity level. So if you're someone who's extremely active, you're working out multiple times a week, you're getting in maybe 10,000 steps a day, you're going to be drinking, you're going to be, it's going to be more beneficial to drink more. You're going to need more water and to be more hydrated than someone maybe who is a lot more sedentary or maybe doesn't work out at all. I generally like to, when we have guys in the Modern Man program who are, usually, like an average man's height and weight, I like to have them to aim for about a gallon to start with. And everyone's at a different starting point, right? So like, that's not a magical number, but like you were drinking way less. So we kind of took things more gradually. And I said, all right, well, let's aim for 80 ounces. Let's
I think I was drinking 4 glasses of water a day.
Yeah, exactly. So to go from 4 glasses to then a gallon overnight, it's not the best transition, right? You've got to take things one step at a time.
Right.
So it really does depend on where you're at right now and building up to the number that you eventually want to get to. So I think you've done a great job at that. And I'm very much like you, where I can't drink just plain water. It's really hard for me. So to find, some good ways to flavor it or make it taste better, like the Mio. There's a million different products out there now that are, not unhealthy, and you can just easily add them to your water, and they taste much better. And
what do you think of lemon in water? Like lemon, pure lemon.
Yeah, even lemon. Yeah, lemon or lime, whatever. Yep.
Because I see a lot of people with their water bottles, walking around Long Beach here, especially, and they have cut up lemons and limes in there. But
Yep.
How about any type of fruit? Is that harmful with sugar?
I mean, anything that's going to flavor your water, like the Mio or any other flavoring that they may be using, if it's natural, they're probably getting it from fruit anyway, right? So it's also possible it's artificial flavor, which, isn't the end of the world if you're using a few squirts of it. But fruit is totally fine. Obviously, if you're someone who's tracking calories and like you're going to eat that fruit too, like, that's something you should include in your day. But yeah, absolutely. If you can flavor your water and that allows you to drink more, that's a plus in my opinion.
Right. You mentioned steps, right? So when I had I'm not going to call it an injury because I don't even know what it is. It was like a pulled muscle or something. And I haven't been really able to get on a bike the way I wanted to. I was doing somewhere between 10,000 and 13,000 miles on a bike. I started at 6,000, if you remember, and I kept going 6,000 miles. And you kept saying to me, you need more. You need to do a little bit more than just a bike. You need to do a little exercise, upper body a little bit. And I was like, oh no, this guy wants me back in the gym and I don't want to go back in the gym. And then I started with the bands, which I still use the bands. And I still, try to work out the arms here. I'm not a gym person. So going from a bike now to now getting steps, I'm at 10,000 steps a day easily. And I won't go to bed unless I hit the 10,000 mark or better.
Yep.
I know you want me to go more, but I'm at 10,000. So easy there. But on a given weekend, if I'm really running around as a real estate agent showing houses, I wear one of these Fitbits here.
Yep.
And this is pretty good for realtors on the go because we show a lot of houses. So as we're walking, you never know. You could get about 6,000 to 12,000 steps easily.
Yep.
Depending on the houses that you show.
Definitely. And I think, tracking your steps is something that's so underrated, or simply just being active, is something that's so underrated, especially just for people who want to lose body fat and get leaner, and also just for overall health in general. I think it's something that we can all do, right? There's no one out there who can't go for a walk. And it's not something that requires any intense exercise. Like you said, if you have an injury or if you just don't want, like you have no desire to go to the gym, like that's something that is going to make a difference in how many calories you burn off daily and how healthy you are, especially like, and I think this was really brought to our attention, and it was brought to my attention more so over this last year during COVID, because gyms closed, right? And right. People were locked up. There was 3, 4, 5 days in a row where I didn't leave this room and I was in here and I was thinking, that's not healthy. I've got 7 steps in the last 4 days. So that's when I really challenged myself to go outside and go for a walk when it really wasn't necessary. And I started having you guys track your steps as well. And it really does make a big difference in your ability to not only reach your fitness goals, but also just stay healthy and stay active.
What about jogging in place or walking in place? Did you ever try that to get the steps in?
I haven't, just because to me, then that becomes more like when I go outside and get steps, like I'm doing it to kind of enjoy the outdoors or take my dog Nigel out and get him some exercise. So for me, I'd rather actually physically go somewhere and kind of use it as a stress reliever or something like that. Whereas if you're just going in place, like I haven't done that, but I guess you could kind of equate that to like a treadmill, right? At the gym or something like that.
Right. That's what I was thinking. Maybe for those people who are like a day like today where it's storming and, or a day like, where inclement weather or in the wintertime. I do walk in place a lot. At the end of the day, if I hit about 9,000, then I'll go around another 1,000 or so more in just walking in place while I'm watching TV. So I don't feel like I'm doing nothing. I'm just keeping active rather than sitting on the couch like a couch potato, But does that count?
Yeah, I mean, if you're watching TV and you have the option to either sit on the couch or you're kind of, moving your body in whatever way that is, like, yeah, it's probably going to be more beneficial to stay relatively active. Even like standing up, like I think there's studies that show that if you're sitting down for 10 hours a day, that's going to be really terrible for your health. But if you're alternating sitting and standing every 30 minutes or so, just the act of not sitting is helpful.
I started this interview by not asking you how you got started in this business, a little bio of you. But now that we're into the interview, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, of course. So basically, I played basketball in high school, and I practiced for 2 hours every day after school. And then when I went away to Adelphi for college, I didn't continue playing competitively. So I had to replace that, practice time with something. And that's when I started exercising and working out and kind of getting into fitness. And sophomore year is when I became a personal trainer. I studied, I got certified, I became a personal trainer, started helping out some friends around Adelphi, some family, stuff like that. And shortly after that, I started working as a personal trainer at like a tiny little hole in the wall studio right nearby Adelphi. After that, I moved on to like Equinox, like a much bigger box gym. And from there, I started training my own private clients in Manhattan. So I really did start off like the traditional personal trainer, working in a gym and, training people pretty much only in the gym. And then it was 4 years ago that I started the Modern Man program. And I thought to myself, I want to help more people. I want to work with more people than just the 10 clients that I can fit into my schedule, right, and travel to their building. I started this program, and, there's guys from all over the country, even guys from outside the US who, we've all been supporting each other. We've all been motivating each other. And I've tried to make improvements to the program every year that we've had it. And it's been amazing. That's been really my main focus as far as my own work goes, and, my own working with my own clients for the last 4 years. And basically what we do, as you know, is we focus on, strength training, working out, nutrition, and accountability and community to make sure that, everything that we're doing is sustainable, is something we can build upon each year, and that we can actually have friends and connections, in this group, even if they're not with us in person, that are supporting us on our journey and are motivating us on our journey. Because let's be honest, like, not every one of our coworkers or friends or family members is going to be supportive of us eating healthy or going to the gym instead of hanging out with them or doing this or that, right? So it's nice to have a community of other people that are supporting you and are all valuing the same things in regards to health and fitness.
Right. And I see in the community of where where I am here at Modern Man, I see people taking pictures of their meals, which is, I'm bad at that because I usually eat the meal and then I remember, oh shoot, I forgot to take the picture, So, but I do understand why they take the picture of it, and they're showing accountability there as well. And then somebody tries to kind of top that and by saying, hey, I had a better meal than you did. And then comes Jesse Rosenthal with this big dough bar donut, which, by the way, today's National Donut Day. I don't
Is
know
it really?
Yeah, I sent you a picture of donuts at the beginning of the week, I think. And every time I see a donut now, I think of you, and I think of my daughter Victoria, who loves donuts. But I know that you come along and you go, here, guys, I can eat this too. And so can you. And I'm like, wait a minute. If I eat a donut, there's still an urge in me to eat more donuts. Mm-hmm. So how do I get rid of these urges to eat food? And talk about the intermittent fasting, because realtors should do intermittent fasting.
Yeah. So again, when it comes to nutrition and succeeding long term with whatever plan you're following, it just has to do with finding a protocol or a setup that you can sustain, right? So you've been doing the intermittent fasting now for a long time. It's been
2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, like,
well, let's call it for what it is. I cheated. I didn't do it as much in the beginning. I think it's been about a year and a half, realistically, that I've been doing intermittent fasting.
Yeah. 2
so meals a day.
That is a sustainable, a sustainable method for you, and it fits into your schedule. And I'll talk about why it might be beneficial for realtors specifically. But as far as limiting cravings and limiting binging and stuff like that, it really has to do with picking quality foods that are going to keep you full, that are going to satisfy those cravings even sometimes, and also making sure that you're eating a decent amount of food, right? If you're eating, I know you're not tracking your calories right now, but if you're eating like a very little tiny amount of food, in the hopes of losing weight very fast, you're going to be way more likely to binge at the end of the week because you've been restricting yourself the entire week, right? And that cycle of restricting and then binging happens throughout your entire life. A lot of people are stuck in that.
But does restricting food, because I know a lot of people who do this, right? Is restricting the amount of food bad for you? Does it give you the urges to do the binging?
So what I mean by restricting is eating unnecessarily small amounts of food, like 1,000 calories per day, or maybe 1,500 calories per day. Okay. So by restricting, I'm saying that, like, instead of having 5 donuts, you could have 1 donut that day, and that would, fit into your daily calories, and that would likely satisfy the craving. As if the rest of your meals are relatively good quality meals and keep you full and make you feel good and keep you energized, like, that's not a bad place to be. Whereas if you are, basically what I'm saying is to eat overly restrictively and eat tiny little amounts of food that's going to cause you to be absolutely starving later on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you can.
And I know me, I eat 1 donut. I have 3 addictions, but I think 2 of them are gone a little bit. And I realized this when I was with Debbie and my old nutritionist. And one of the 3 urges that I have is chocolate, bread, and pasta. So those were my 3 addictions. And I think out of the 3, the one that's remaining, the one that's lingering, the one that stays there is the chocolate. Mm-hmm. The pasta I can eat without overeating, and the bread I can eat without overeating, which is a real accomplishment for someone who was a diabetic. And people don't realize they can reverse their diabetes. So.
Yeah, and the reason why I believe you've made that progress is because I see what you eat every day, right? I see what you eat every week, and for at least this entire calendar year, right, from January 1st up until now, June 4th, you've been eating like pretty good quality meals as far as you're getting in protein into most of your meals. Protein's going to keep you more full than carbs and fats do. You're getting in vegetables pretty much every day, maybe not in every single meal, but almost every day you've got some
vegetables. Almost every day is a veggie, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to have some vitamins.
80 to 100 ounces of water, vitamins. I got regular vitamins I'm taking. Intermittent fasting, twice a day meals. Yeah. Look at the progress from the time from the time I was. I think this was 56 pounds ago.
Wow.
Easily. right?
You got a new haircut now too.
Well, there's less hair. So, but I mean, this is about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So if this was 4 years ago, ladies and gentlemen out there, this can, I had to change my life before I got rid of it,
Yeah.
And the other thing I want to ask you is, I know that in full disclosure, modern man movement is for men, but there are women realtors out there that are going to listen to this and they're going to say, "Oh, I'm left out of his group here." Do you have any advice for the ladies?
Yeah, so the truth is there's not anything different that should be done, right? I do have my Modern Man program, but I also have women that I work with and coach online as well who have done extremely well, who are in, very like high and demanding positions in their roles as well, even if whether they're realtors or not. But the truth is, like, when we're talking about finding a plan that works for realtors, as we said before, you're on the go all the time. You maybe can't sit down and eat a meal or prepare a meal, prepare a few meals to eat throughout the day. A lot of people are, in this mindset that they need to eat 5 small meals a day, right, to be healthy. But that doesn't, like, if you're on the go all the time, that makes no sense, right? To try to prepare 30 meals for the week, that is setting you up to be discouraged, because nobody's going to be able, who's running from town to town and house to house and always on the go, you're not going to be able to sit down and eat 5 or 6 times a day, never mind prepare all those meals, right? So,
and I got to tell you, now in my schedule, I have to have one full meal at the beginning of the day. If I know that I'm going to go show houses, I'm going to go show houses somewhere between 1 p.m. and 3 and 4, and then around 4 I gotta have my shake, because I get like a little blah, and during the day, and I'll start getting hungry, and then around 6:30, around there, I'll have a dinner with the fam, and I'll just eat a nice full meal there with veggies. I'm going to try to incorporate 2 veggies in each meal. I just recently started eating oatmeal again, which is pretty cool. But I'll wait a little bit after the oatmeal, after I eat it, and I'll put peanut butter powder, which you taught me to use rather than regular peanut butter. I mean, these are all the things that I've learned. And, I'm finding myself looking at labels, because Debbie trained me to read labels. And you have insisted that I look at things, contents in the labels. And we use MyFitnessPal as well. And I don't want to give away too many of the secrets of modern man, but these are the things that have helped me, and as a realtor on the go, if you stop at a store, right, and you have a thing about going out and eating out, right? You could still eat out, but what should you really realize in that eating out?
yeah,
What should you be aware of?
if you have a game plan in place, you can still eat out and follow that game plan. Like, for example, you're intermittent fasting, and I pretty much tell you in your meals, let's make sure to get a protein source in there and a vegetable. Even if you get some carbs in there too, that's fine. But just make sure you've got the protein and the vegetable. So if you're eating out, you can still follow that, right? You can go to a deli and say, give me those 2 pieces of grilled chicken, those mixed vegetables, and then add some rice on the side, right? Or you can go to McDonald's and say, give me the grilled chicken sandwich. We're talking worst case scenario, right? Give me the grilled chicken sandwich and, a side salad with the no fat dressing, right? The non-fat or the lowest.
What if I have chicken McNuggets and a large order of fries, and I go off my plan? What happens to me at that point? What do I do? Do I feel guilty and continue to binge, or do I start over the next day?
If you just you have a meal that's not ideal, you're saying, if you go to McDonald's?
Because you know what? Because if I like my wife says to me, once in a while it's good to cheat. Once in a while you should cheat just to feel normal. And I'm like, what is normal anymore? I'm like, I'm all over the place. I'm like scrambled eggs right now with my meals. And speaking of scrambled eggs, she puts feta in there.
Mm-hmm.
She cuts up feta and she puts it in the scrambled eggs, and then I'll have bacon. So I went also from regular bacon to turkey bacon, which,
Nice.
by the way, tastes delicious, by
It
the way.
does. Yeah. I'm a big fan of
You
it.
know, people have this I think it's a mindset that they have the meal already in their head, just like I have, like, you know what I have in a craving right now for? Reese's peanut butter cups. Because you know why? I've seen Reese's peanut butter cups 4 times on TV this week. And I think they created a subliminal commercial just for me. But I can taste the peanut butter cup. I know what it tastes like, and I'm craving it right now. So if I say that, I have a craving, and I satisfy that craving, and it's no good for me, your advice is get back on your horse the next day and do it over again.
Exactly. There's no one ever got fat from one meal, right? From eating one package of Reese's or from eating one meal at McDonald's. Like, it's just, that doesn't happen. It's the same as saying that, like, if you eat one salad, you're going to get totally shredded and lean, right? It just doesn't work like that. So if you're having McDonald's 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week, yeah. Or if you have McDonald's and then you go home and you have pizza and then you have, a couple beers with that, it's more of a habitual thing, right? It's more of a lifestyle thing. So if you have a meal that's not ideal, or if you eat a meal that would be seen as junk, even once a week or even twice a week, it's not the end of the world, as long as you understand that the next time I eat a meal, I'm going to get back on track, or the next, tomorrow, I'm going to get back on to my normal program, and I'm going to, have better quality meals. So it's more of a consistency thing as opposed to, a perfection thing.
And you know what I noticed too, Jesse, is that when I eat a bad meal, or I'll overeat something now, I get sick.
Mm-hmm.
My body doesn't feel normal and the way it did before I ate that bad meal. And I'm saying to myself, gee, I'm 52 years old now, and I'm thinking to myself, am I getting old, or is my body finally accepting a normal routine?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you ever hear that kind of feedback?
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely guys who have said, like, hey, I've been just eating better quality meals and foods over the last 6 months or 12 months. And then when they have something that is, not nutritious at all, or more junk or processed, their body, your body knows, and the digestion is just not nearly as good. So yeah, I've definitely heard that before.
So don't have those second helpings of things. Try not to eat garbage. Try to feed your mind as well as your body with good things and good ideas and good pictures of food. And also, if you have a good nutritionist like Jesse and a good fitness consultant like Jesse, follow your coach's advice. Hey, I could go on and on with this interview. You know that, right?
Yeah.
But we have to end right here. And I just want to thank you for the special segments of Coffee Talk. I think this could help a lot of realtors on the go. And please put in your commercial. How do people get in contact with you if they want to join Modern Man, or even use you as a fitness consultant?
Yeah, I would say, if you're watching this on Facebook, you can just send me a friend request. My name is Jesse Rosenthal. I should say it on the screen there. You can send me a friend request. You can, check out some of my videos or content and see if it resonates with you. As far as going to a physical place to see what I do, you can go to rosefitnessny.com and kind of see what kind of stuff I do, and also see some nice success stories of some of the other guys and some of the other people I've worked with. So, always happy to connect.
Okay. Thank you so much for this, Jesse. I really appreciate you coming on the show. This is Joe Sonona with another interesting segment of Coffee Talk, special segments. And my guest this week was my friend, my brother, and my coach, Jesse Rosenthal. Thank you very much, Jesse.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.